மாணவர்களின் சிந்தனைகளை வடிவமைக்க SNS Institutions, மாணவர்களின் தனித்திறமைகளை மேம்படுத்த SNS Institutions, மாணவர்களின் சாதனைகளை போற்றும் SNS Institutions கோவை.
எனக்கு இது பிடிக்கலங்க.
நான் முன்னேறது பிடிக்கலையா?
நமக்கு எதுக்கு அடுத்தவங்க காசு?
வீட்டுக்கு வர லட்சுமி வேணான்னு சொல்லாதே, பின்னாடி வருத்தப்படுவ.
How's Vedaant doing?
He's doing well. He's working hard, and he has the nationals coming up. So he's been, he's doing his best. But I'm proud of him. But I'm also afraid.
1728 representing India, Vedaant Madhavan.
You don't want him to be an actor or anything, or go his sporting way?
I don't
be a
want
swimmer.
You see, I think the kids today have the maturity to understand what they want to do. I don't want to suggest or push any profession or hobby in their direction. Vedant got up at 4 in the morning for the last 8 years without having to wake him up. So I knew that he had the grit and the passion and the desire to swim. And he's proved his mantle. He's done what he has to do. But both of us realize that he's getting a lot more attention than he deserves, because he's only won one competition in Denmark where 3 countries were participating. And I have taken the whole objective of explaining to him the difference between success and fame, and to differentiate between them, because it's so dangerous. An example I gave him was, I said, you won this Denmark and you won a silver and gold, right? You'll go back and everybody is now treating you like a national kid, and praising me for being your father and you for being my son and not taking up acting and all that, and you're getting all this attention. But eventually you'll go to Commonwealth Games, which is a bigger competition than this, and you'll probably get a bronze, which do a better timing than you've done. But the world will say, oh, poor guy, he's got caught up with fame because last time he got a gold, now he's got a bronze. And you will think, oh my God, I'm inadequate or I'm insufficient. And you'll do stupidity to try and get the same amount of fame. And I'm trying to tell him, understand that there's a difference between fame and success. You have to So I'm sure as a father and as my son, both of us will make mistakes, but I at least don't want to make the obvious ones.
What are the discussions going on for your next movies?
I haven't met anybody, Sridhar sir. I've been so inundated and encompassed with Rocketry that even I was dreading the press conference today because I have so many things I wanted to say, and I was hoping it's going to go right. And I'm producing it and I'm directing it and I'm taking calls on the publicity right now. So it's just impossible to concentrate on anything else. I want to cleanse myself and I want to finish this film, release it, know the outcome, and probably go to the mountains and just spend some time. And
of course, you'll have a break, but you'll have to come back again to do a movie.
At that time, the world would have changed again. That I know for sure. And I want to know what I've understood about the world that has changed, and then how to stay ahead of the curve.
Okay. And now, what do you say about this pan-India trend? South India has produced 3 of the biggest hits: Pushpa, RRR, and KGF 2. What's your opinion on this?
Well, sir, actually, if truth be told, there is Bahubali, RRR, Pushpa, and KGF 1 and 2. These are the only films that have done very well from the South, which have managed to earn more than big shot Hindi films. These are 5 films. Similarly, this year there have been Hindi films also that have done really well. From Gangubai to Kashmir Files, Bhul Bhulaiya 2, all these films have also managed to do really well. So there is no pattern here. I mean, we are quick to jump into it, but
but sir, the opening that a South Indian biggie is getting, like the films you mentioned, is something bigger than this Bhul Bhulaiya 2s and Gangubai.
Agreed, without a doubt. And that is the thing that Hindi films have to worry about in terms of getting in South opening. So the day a Hindi film gets a bigger opening in the South compared to a South actor, that is the day we know that we've finally mixed the whole thing up and only great films will work and it is not geography oriented. So that has not happened yet. So on that front, I think these films are meritorious. Pushpa is meritorious. I mean, but one thing I will tell you, what is common to all these films that have worked, and that has been exceptional commitment on behalf of the actors. Be it RRR, be it Pushpa, be it KGF, be it Gangubai, or all the actors on there. It's not been a quickie. None of these films are, let's turn it around in 15 days. They've all been where people
and the content was far superior to the existing
throughout. And it is post-COVID era content, it was COVID-proof content. And more importantly, one thing I heard a taxi driver tell me once, and he said, I'm not liking these actors' film anymore. I said, why? He said, it doesn't look like they're working hard. And so people are aware that if you're going there and making a film in 40 days and coming out and churning it out, they're only going to give you that much respect. Look at what the actors did in RRR. They've given their life, soul, body, blood, sweat, KGF, even Pushpa. Allu Arjun is such a good dancer. He's a good-looking guy. But he chose to dance in character. He chose to be that ugly, scruffy guy, even when he was romancing.
I think the characterization worked
brilliantly.
And now, what is your comment on theatre versus OTT? You are releasing your own film in a big way in theatres. That's why.
No, I think it's a no-brainer, Sridhar sir. People who think that they're making content which will either work will make it as a film, and if it doesn't work, they'll push it on OTT. Both case scenario, it's not going to work. Content that's going to work as cinema in the large screen has to be worthy of the large screen. I should not be able. So Vikram Vedha will work on a large screen. RRR will work on a large screen. I don't have to necessarily see Mara on the large screen, except for the visual grandeur. That was probably the only regret. But the souls of the stories are smaller. So they don't really make an impact just because you went and saw it on the large screen. So I think every director, producer and actor have to make this huge crucial decision of whether the content
or theatrical,
or if it's a series. If it's an OTT film, or is it a theatrical film, or is it an OTT series? Like example, I can't do Breathe as a movie.
Yeah, no, you cannot.
And I can't do
Mara
that
also, I think some mistakes were made in Mara.
Possible, but it was made but it was released on OTT.
Yeah.
And so it has its own sets of fan following even now, in Kerala also, like I gave interviews yesterday. But yeah, I'm sure we made mistakes. But what I'm trying to say is, one has to be very clear on which medium your story is going into, because it could be complete suicide. So I can't make Decoupled into a movie. It has to be a short series.
But that was meant for the OTT. And it worked, it will only work there.
Yeah.
That's it. And what a performance from you on Decoupled also.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. So Madhavan, the actor today, when somebody proposes a story to you, how do you take it? In your mind, you tell the producer before itself, is it OTT? Is it theatrical? Is it a series? How's the decision taken?
Sir, I decide depending on what the person is telling me himself. I ask him, what do you want to do? And he'll say, I want to make it into a theatrical film, or I want to make it into OTT series or an OTT film. I want to see if he has a sensibility to decide the right medium first, before I can surrender myself to him. Then I hear the subject. It might be an extraordinary subject, Sridhar sir, but I might not be able to relate to it because of the position that I am in my life at that point of time. Example I'll give, if you're having a great fight at home and you're getting into a divorce, there is no way you can do a romantic film. It's just, you'll be there nasty all the time. Similarly, it's just a small example, but if I'm financially burdened, it's going to be difficult for me to play a rich man, So mentally where I am in my life and how does that story relate to me at that point of time is something that I have to see. So when I did Nambi, I was that angsty. I was like, oh, I want to do this. When I did Rocketry, I was feeling that Nambi sir was feeling.
You're feeling for the grief.
The story, yeah. So when I did Decoupled, I think I realized a lot of that quality is within me. I get irritated, so it's, so if I'm able to relate to the subject, then I look at it even more intently and I see how much I can contribute to it without risking the producer's money. And if all that box get ticked, then the final box for me is, what is the intent behind making a project like this? Is the producer wanting to make it in a certain budget and quickly sell it off to the OTT and make sure he gets a certain margin, which is fair enough, but that cannot be the reason to make a project with me, because I can't dance, sing, make all those commercial batters. So I have to gauge that intent, and if that intent is passes the mantle, then I do the project, which is why I take a long time to do any project.
That was lovely talking to you.
Thank you.
One last question. What's the future of Tamil cinema with so many good movies coming and post-Rocketry?
I think we have a great future ahead, with people realizing the kind of films that need to be made. Everybody actually the fact that everybody's taken a step back. If you see the sheer amount of announcements in the Tamil industry, they have shrunk. They're just waiting to see what to do next, And I think that's a great step, Before you leap, you need to take a couple of steps back. And Vikram has proved that point. So I think everybody, will look at into the...
So now it's a post-Vikram era.
Post-Vikram era, absolutely. And I hope there's a post-Rocketry era also.
Great talking to you, man.
Pleasure as usual, Sridhar sir. Thank you so much. Thank you.
மாணவர்களின் சிந்தனைகளை வடிவமைக்க SNS Institutions, மாணவர்களின் தனித்திறமைகளை மேம்படுத்த SNS Institutions, மாணவர்களின் சாதனைகளை போற்றும் SNS Institutions கோவை.
எனக்கு இது பிடிக்கலங்க.
நான் முன்னேறது பிடிக்கலையா?
நமக்கு எதுக்கு அடுத்தவங்க காசு?
வீட்டுக்கு வர லட்சுமி வேணான்னு சொல்லாதே, பின்னாடி வருத்தப்படுவ.